I have I have something to show you. I have something in my pocket. Hello. Glad you could join me today. So it's strange times, and maybe you feel sometimes that this is a bad day. This is a really bad day, you know. It's gray outside. We have an ongoing pandemic. But I will tell you a story that that might change your mind a bit, I hope. It's a very important story. And it's about the worst day in the history of life. The worst day in the history of life. Because I will show you what I have here. This is an iron meteorite. This object here is 4.5 billion years old. That this was in orbit around the sun when life started, or when life got to this planet. We don't know how it happened, but such a piece of rock is nothing compared to what happened 66 million years ago. Around Earth you can find a thin layer of iridium and clay material. And iridium is very, very rare on Earth. It's a very rare metal, but it's more common in meteorites. And so that was a sign that some kind of meteorite had impacted Earth about 66 million years ago. And it marks the boundary between the Cretaceous period, where the dinosaurs lived, and the Tertiary period that came after. So we have the evidence of iridium around the Earth. Evidence of an impact of some sort. But where's the crater? There were remnants found in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. And this was fairly recent. I think it was the end of the 1990s or beginning of year 2000. You can see that this is a remnant of an enormous crater. It is about 20 kilometers across, and it coincides precisely with this iridium layer 66 million years ago. So, you know, during this 200 million years when the dinosaurs lived, it was a very stable period. They have filled up all the niches, almost all the habitats were exploited by the dinosaurs. And there were mammals, small mammals, running around the feet of the dinosaurs, more or less. But they had no chance of getting bigger or diversifying more, because the dinosaurs was the dominant genre of this time. So if nothing had happened, if this space rock didn't change its trajectory, it may have continued orbiting the sun. But for some reason, maybe a collision, or maybe the pulling, the gravitational pulling of other planets in our solar system, it came on a trajectory towards Earth. It came at a very high velocity. It entered the atmosphere with about the velocity of about 30 kilometers per second. So it's pretty fast. That is 20 times the velocity of a bullet. And it was massive. It was around 10 to 15 kilometers across. It was so huge So it probably didn't notice the atmosphere. The atmosphere probably didn't cause any damage to it at all. And in a fraction of a second, it was visible in the sky. And then it hit the Earth. And the atmosphere probably would have, been heating up to hotter than the sun. And even before this rock hit Earth, the atmosphere itself would have begin excavating the crater. And when it hit the surface of the Earth, it excavated a crater. It went straight through the crust of Earth, about 15 kilometers. And there was, intense heat, enormous explosion. And when you throw a stone into a pond, you have waves. That's what happens with Earth when you strike it with such an object. It basically becomes a liquid. So there would have been enormous earthquakes and waves traveling several times around the globe, and the debris would have been thrown up to the atmosphere and rained down across the globe, and the dust excavated would have shielded. It would have been a very hot and cloudy day that day. The ecosystems collapsed, and life couldn't adapt so fast to a sudden change like that. So 70% of the life on Earth got extinct during that event. And the most fantastic thing is that I just spilled my coffee. It's not the end of the world, but it's a bit sad. And that's all this, just the mass extinctions that Earth have been through, really shows the persistence of life. Is it even possible to wipe out all life on Earth? I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. And this kind of object is what we have to thank for our existence. Yes, to make a long story short, it could have been much worse. I encourage you to read a book. It's called The Ends of the World. The Ends of the World. And it goes through the different mass extinctions on the planet. But it kind of changed my... It made me understand the scale, or what is an imminent threat and what is not an imminent threat, Another interesting thing is to look at our other planets in the solar system, because we can learn much about what can happen if we look at other planets. We can have a look at Mars, for example, the red planet that you can see in the sky on the night sky, like a bright red, orange flickering star. It's Mars. What we can see and what we know about Mars is that the conditions for life has been very good on Mars. Probably it has had great oceans, water oceans with liquid water on the surface. And now it has a North Pole with a lot of locked up water ice. And now it's just, the planet is just inhabitable right now. It's just a desert landscape. So something happened that made an inhabitable planet to this desert. Something happened to it. The same with Venus. And I think Venus, the planet Venus, is a better example. Now it is completely saturated with, the atmosphere is completely saturated with carbon dioxide. It is extremely warm due to the greenhouse gas effect. It's an oven. But science tell us that in the early history of Venus, it had liquid oceans. It might very well have resembled Earth in its early history. So I don't know. It's, you know, when you read the news, it's like the world is ending in one way or another in a very short time. I don't think that's the case at all. There might be hard times ahead. We don't know, but things won't end, you know, like that. For me personally, I feel better when I think that life will prevail. Life will be here, you know, and take other forms in the far, far future. Independent what happened to us humans, life will be around. And for me, that's an important thought, actually, for me. It gives some kind of sense of security or sense of content to know that. And when we talk about life, we can also talk about the event of the origin of life, and that's a completely different story. But you know, we don't know how life started. And there are different theories. We still don't know how it started. We cannot understand how, you know, dead things can become living things. I think life is quite common throughout the universe. So let's leave it. Let's leave it there. Let's not go into that now. I wish you a great day and the best of times, irrespective of the weather and the current situation. I know it will be better. So just, you know, we need to hang on, as they say. Okay, take care. Bye.